Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
On behalf of the Topeka High Historical Society, we welcome all of you, the Topeka Board of Education, friends and classmates of the Barrett family, Topeka High students, faculty and staff, and especially the family of William and Myrtle Huss Barrett. We are gathered here today for Topeka High and the Topeka High Historical Society to show our immense appreciation to the Barrett family for making the Western Street entrance beautification and improvement project possible. It's a significant improvement to the outdoor space on the west side of this beautiful building and to the campus, and makes the area useful. It's been an area that has not been particularly useful for a long time, and so now we'll have some outdoor classroom space and lunch space and a beautiful place for these students to get some fresh air. If all the members who are with us from the Barrett family could stand up and give them a round of applause, that would be wonderful.
Good afternoon. My name is Rebecca Morrissey, and I am privileged to be the principal of this beautiful school. Before I take the opportunity to read a couple of things to the family, I would like to, just on a personal note, thank you. I came here in 2009 as an assistant principal and fell in love with this place, the traditions, the beautiful architecture, the nature, the spirit that is Topeka High School that you really don't know unless you're privileged to be a part of the staff or a part of the student body here. When John stepped forward on behalf of your family and asked what we could do, I certainly felt like there were three main entrances to this building, and that the western side, although used a lot, had been somewhat neglected, and it certainly didn't quite live up to the polk entrance or the main entrance. So when he agreed on behalf of your family to do something to make this not only more beautiful, but usable space, which Sarah already alluded to, a place that we can use as an extended classroom, a place that can be overflow for lunch, and just a place students can hang out and enjoy the social aspect of high school, I was extremely appreciative. What's been fun is to see your faces as I've heard the stories of your family, of what happened for you when you were here, and the fact that because of that, you wanted to somehow give back. Years ago, I was part of a bond issue, and when people went out and they spoke to what was largely a retired community, and people stepped up and wanted to help in that area, and it was Leavenworth at the time, I remember them saying that sometimes when people ask for money, it isn't about paying for someone else's education, it's about giving back, because there were people that were there for us. So it's people like your family who are giving back that help us maintain a beautiful old building, which isn't easy to do. But more importantly, your gifts ensure that our students are loved, and they know that there are people out there who still care about what they're doing here, and that there are students out there, older now, who still remember what happened here for them. They remember the staff and one another, and it tells them that someday they will be you, and I hope that they continue to give back the same way you have. So on a personal note, thank you so much for what you've done. This time I have two decrees, certificates to read to you. The first one is a certificate of recognition for your family. It is from Michelle de la Isla, our current mayor, and I will read it to you. Certificate of Recognition for the dedication of the Topeka High School Western Street Plaza. The Western Street Plaza at Topeka High School was funded by the family of William and Myrtle Barrett. Their gift was used to improve and beautify the Topeka High campus and enrich the mural landscape at Topeka. Topeka High senior Alessandra Chavez has created 4 Topeka High themed murals spanning 25 feet for the project. Other enhancements in the project include a brick pathway leading to a Western Street entrance, walls that reflect the look of the front veranda, additional sidewalks and tables which will be used for an outdoor classroom and overflow lunch space. The Barrett siblings are Paul, THS 1944, Bill, THS 1947 and THS Hall of Fame, Tom, THS 1948 and THS Hall of Fame, Bonnie Wilson, THS 1949, Donna Layden, THS 1951, Jack, THS 1952, John, THS 1953, Richard, 1956, and Carolyn Keller, THS 1961. They dedicate the plaza to their parents and their sister Pauline. Thank you for your contributions and best wishes. And then Michelle has affixed her certificate and her seal to this. In addition, the Kansas Senate has issued a tribute. Vicki Schmidt was behind this and a part of this. We appreciate that, and I will also read this to you. State of Kansas Senate tribute. Be it hereby known to all that official recognition is extended to the family of William and Myrtle Huss Barrett in recognition of Western Street Plaza at Topeka High. The Kansas Senate and Senator Vicki Schmidt join in recognizing the family of William and Myrtle Huss Barrett on their dedication of the Western Street Plaza in memory of their parents and sister Pauline. The project improves and beautifies the Topeka High School campus and enriches the mural landscape in Topeka. The family's dedication and loyalty honor Topeka High School, the community, and the state of Kansas. By Vicki Schmidt, Senator, and I can't read the writing on the other signature, our Secretary of the Senate. I will present this to John, it will hang here at the school, and will recognize your family. Congratulations to you, thank you so much.
The next person we get to hear from is Alessandra Chavez, who is the artist.
Yeah!
She's the artist who created the murals that are a part of this project, and wanted to say a few words about that.
I'd just like to thank the Barrett family again for giving me the opportunity to make these great murals. I'd also like to thank Mr. O'Callahan for letting me paint them in his room for the whole first semester and storing them in there, which was probably a pain. And I'd also like to thank my parents and my teachers for supporting me through this. Yeah, thank you.
I think the last time, or certainly one of the last times I was on this stage, I was part of an operetta that they were playing here. I wasn't very good, but I was talking with Doug Wallace, and his uncle was the lead in that operetta. So the thing I remember most about it was that I had to wear pink tights and a green blouse. And that's what I traipsed around on the stage on, trying to hide in the back of all the people I could. And my fellow classmates managed to mention it to me every once in a while. And I never quite understood because Doug, who was the lead, he didn't have to wear pink tights. I didn't. I don't know why that was true. But anyhow, it was a fun experience. It was one of the things that I acquired while I was here at Topeka High School. And to let some of you know, this all started way back in 1920. In the early 20s, at the old Topeka High School, which was over at 8th and Topeka Avenue, there was a young lady over there by the name of Myrtle Anna Huss. And she finished her work at the high school and went out into the world. Later met a young man by the name of William Valentine Barrett. And the two were married. And out of that marriage, there became this group. Some we're proud of, and some we kind of question. Anyhow, here we are. Now, Mom, who was the driving force for most of us as far as our education was concerned, always thought any of us could do anything we wanted to do if we chose to do it. And I think for the most part, most of us did that. We went to school, we had great teachers, and the school was supportive of what we were able to do. And it showed up later as we moved on in our life. All of us, for the most part, went to college. We have advanced degrees. We excelled in the work that we did and feel good about it. And this is one of the reasons that we were talking, and my brother Tom, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, called one day and said, "Hey, I got an idea." And we passed it around through the family members, and they all agreed that, yeah, you know, we ought to try to give something back to this school that put up with 9 of us Barretts for all those years that it took to get all of us through. And so thus was born, after a meeting with Joan and with Rebecca, the project that is now out on the western side of the school. Now, there were a lot of people involved in this that I need to thank. The first person I'd want to thank, and I was hoping he could be here today, but he couldn't, is a fellow classmate, a young man that I went through junior high and high school with, a good friend. Later on, even, we were co-coaches of a girls' softball team that actually got to be pretty good in spite of us. They took second in the state one year in the fast pitch softball league out at Lake Shawnee. But he went on to become an architect. So when they were asking me, what do you think you want to do out here? I said, well, let me make a phone call. And I called Jim, and Jim said, sure, he'd be happy to help. And he came over, and we spent a couple of evenings out here in the measuring and thinking and looking at what could be done. And he drew up a proposal for us, which is what we presented to the boards, and they accepted with, over the period of time, had some modifications, but basically is what you will see when you go out here. One of the first things I noticed when we went out here, it was, I looked at that blank wall over there with those 4 ugly bricked in windows, and I said, we got to put some murals in there. And Joan said, got just the person for him. And here she sits. And so we got a hold of Alexandra, and she came up with a proposal, and in our meeting, I don't know whether you remember that but she passed those preliminary drawings around, and we all just kind of sat speechless at the table because of what she had done. And it didn't take long for us to say, yeah, let's do this. So the murals, this is the young lady and they are hers. But they come through these people sitting down here. So when you look at them, appreciate what's done. This is her gift as well as our gift, and we want to know that. Now, I would like to take just a moment to introduce individually some of the people who helped finance this. It certainly couldn't be done without the dollars. And sitting on the left in the front is my sister Carolyn. She's the youngest of the group and the most spoiled of the bunch. But we try to live with that. Next to her is her husband Frank, who also was attended Topeka High School. So that. Next down the line is my sister Donna and her husband. Sitting next to her, Stuart. And next to Donna is the sister Bonnie. And then we come down and the brother Dick, or Richard, some people knew him as, and his wife Linda sitting next to him. And then we come down to Bill and his wife Louise. And sitting down almost to the end here is my wife Cynthia, whom is the joy of my life, at least. Some of the other people don't think that much of it. Anyhow, we have two other special people I'd like to point out. We've lost two of the brothers, Paul, who was the oldest, and my brother Jack, who was a year older than I am, ahead of me in school. But he's represented by his daughter Brenda, who came up from Dallas, and we appreciate her being here. And Paul's daughter Laura, oh, there she is, also attended with her husband Larry. And gosh, they even got Mom back there. I forgot about her. She's going to have to grow a little bit. But these are the ones who did it, and I'd like you to give them a little hand if you would. The one sister that probably is most highly thought of by all of us family members was my sister Pauline. Pauline died at a very young age of 36, which seems like an early age, and was. But when she was born, she was expected to live till about 3. So we were blessed to have her for, 33 years that they said we wouldn't. Pauline was unable to attend school. She was home-taught, homeschooled. There wasn't such a thing back then, but that's what we would call it today. And that was by our mother. And she ran the house. Whatever Pauline said is what the rest of us did. And I don't know any of us that ever crossed Pauline, because that wasn't the thing you dared to do. But Pauline was the blessing to our household, and I'm sure many of you have that person in your household someplace. But that's why we have made a point to dedicate our part of it to Pauline as well as her mom and dad. Our mother worked hard. We all worked in the here in town. And we delivered chickens, a lot of things we couldn't do because we had to, once we got out of school, had to go home and go to work. But in spite of that, I was impressed with the madrigals singing. My sister Bonnie was a madrigal when she was in school. When Rebecca once told me, she said, "Yeah, this would be a good place out here, have it for an overflow for lunch." We couldn't go out of the school for lunch when I was in school. I said, "You're kidding? You mean they get to go out there?" She said, "Yeah." When I was in school, we had proctors at every door. Some of us were proctors, some of us, I was a head proctor at one time, which meant I spent my whole lunch hour running from door to door to see if everybody was doing what they're supposed to or taking a nap or whatever, and sometimes it was a little of both. So, but of course, proctors were only as good as their friendship with their fellow students, because students would say, "How about if I take a few minutes and run down to Hickey's Bakery and get a nut roll? I'll be right back." And the proctor say, "Yeah, if you bring me one." So we had that kind of a exchange going on also. Now, we also had one among us, and I won't mention Bill's name, but he was our escape artist. He managed to find ways out of this school. It seemed like daily. And my mother used to say, "If I could just get him through high school." And now he's up in the Hall of Fame. Now, the reason I mention that is because I'm looking around at you students, and I hope you're taking notes, because I'm going to have a quiz on all this stuff later. But I mention this to say that you need to work. High school, I know, has its ups and downs, and sometimes you think, what am I doing here? Well, what you're doing here is preparing yourself for what comes next. And so that's what, even with our faults, our strengths, whatever it was, that's what we prepared for. And that's what people like Rebecca, Miss Morrison, and the teachers prepared us for, is what's that next step? How are you going to use it, and how will you be able to use it? And that's part of why we said we owe something to the Topeka High School, because that's who prepared us. It was our family. They were first. Our sister Pauline was second. And then the high school was right behind them, helping prepare us to do what we could do. So I hope you enjoy, you students especially, enjoy the area out there. And God bless you all. Thank you.
The Topeka High Historical Society thanks the Barrett family, John Barrett, Alessandro Chavez, Principal Rebecca Morrissey, the 501 Facilities Department, especially Rob Seitz, John Nesbitt, and Jerry Carter, Scott Larson, Mark Madden, Lynn Palmore, and the Topeka High School custodial staff, the Degginger Foundry, Lardner Monuments, Tad Pete of Americrete, Bill Rippon, Dominic Carreno, Steve Eubank and the Topeka High Madrigals, Brad Stahlbaumer and the THS Marine Corps Junior ROTC, Rick Palma and the Topeka High School video production staff, Heather Hooper and the Topeka High School journalism students, Gina Lyons and the Topeka High School culinary class for making this project and this recognition on this lovely afternoon.